I'm gonna try a new angle. I'm like, I look like an orange on a toothpick. Oh, come on, man. Could I have gotten 60? Yeah, you know what I mean? Like, we're not trying to fail perfectly at 50. We're trying to fail perfectly close to 50. If it's 60, cool. If it's 45, cool. We're just gonna taper it up each time. Or kick it up when we go down in the reps. Here we go. Come on. So kind of keep a more of a pace on this because I'm doing the same weight, only dropping 40 pounds, but the amount of weight that if I went from the 110 to 125 to still get 40 might be too much and I might drop lower. So what I do now, keep the weight the same, lower my rest time. Now I'm getting less rest on a weight. I know I got 50 and hopefully it lands me at 40. Yeah. 2, 3. Ooh. Oh. That did it. That did it. And now shooting for 30 reps, only the little bump with a normal rest should land me perfectly at 30. Could I keep going? Yeah. Look at how you did it. I think you got on your 40, like 25 full range and then 15 partials. But your partial was like, it wasn't like you were doing this. It's like, that's moving. It'd be like doing a chest fly, but you just can't touch. You're still getting it, you know? And one thing that I always do on these is put it at a stretch that I can't get. So there's never an opportunity for me to clank or take tension off. And sometimes it's like you'll maybe starting out your set, you're like, that's incredibly hard to get that far. By your last set, you're like, I have a new range of motion. Because it's giving you a position that like right here, it's just, there's no tension. I'm trust falling onto this. This is just sitting. Balls. Just making the shorts fit weird. And then sometimes when I do something like this where it's like, you should nail down a 10 rep. Hey man, I didn't nail 30 perfectly. It's like, there's room for that. You know what I mean? But when you're getting to 10, I might get to 10 and be like, easy, I'm gonna scrap that one. That's not my 10. But if I hit this and I'm like, perfect, that's what I need. This one would be the judgment set. Yep. 10 seconds, or typically 3 big deep breaths, will get you the same kind of effect. Good little reset. Now I'm shooting for 3 to 4. And that's it on that. Going pretty explosive, fast for someone who's loving negatives, right? We've yet to do controlled negatives, right? So when we're done with all this, all of our squatting and stuff is gonna be under control. We've been doing some positive, fast stuff, explosive shit to fire everything up. But when we get over to the stuff that's like, I'm almost a believer of like, go crazy on ISO, pay attention to the mass movers, because there's way too many opportunities for secondary muscles to take over. This, I'm like, what's gonna take over on an extension? Me from bringing my chest down. So I'm like, I'm gonna go hard on these. Time under tension, control the ones where it's like, are my glutes taking over? One thing that's important on these is countering the weight that you're about to do. When we were talking about forearms the other day, 45 pounds, 45 pounds of pressure. You start upping that weight and it's yanking you forward. If you're going 100 pounds, 200 pounds on extension, 100 pounds, 200 pounds in, and then you're never getting lifted again. That's a huge mistake. Anytime you see somebody doing this on extensions, I'm like, your quads suck. Just kidding. All right, here we go. What? I try to like drop my butt to like as close as it can get to this. So if you're upright like this, that's as far as you're gonna go. But I like to lean back where my ass is. That's the full stretch, double quad stretch, right? So now I'm in this position. That's where I wanna be on the sissy, not here. Watching Alberto Nunez back in the day, when he would do body weight stuff, doing pull-ups, for example. I forgot how he phrased it, so I might butcher it a little bit, but along the lines of like, if I'm just repping, I could probably get 15, 20 plus pull-ups. He's like, but if I'm doing bodybuilding pull-ups, 4 to 6 all day. And I think of that with sissies where it's like, oh bro, you're just doing kind of body weight. Like if we can just half-ass it, 20, 30 reps if we just went through it. But what we're doing is tightening our glutes, putting our hips forward, and you're just staying in a position where it's like, we're gonna make something that's supposedly kind of easy even more difficult. Because if your glutes are loose, you can get down and easily drop your hips. But you hip thrust forward and your glutes are locked in, and you're like, that's all quads, you know? So kind of to make the easy thing as hard as possible. God damn. I'm okay. I'm gonna be all right. That was brutal, dude. More explosive. So although those were explosive, we averaged about 20 reps when all said and done. No, more than that because we went for 12 and 12. This, we're gonna go 12, 10, 8, 6, 4 all the way down. Controlling the negative, but explosive positive. When we're done with this, we're treating this like, imagine this is just your squat. But since we got this awesome machine, we're gonna do this instead of barbell as our compound move. And then when we're done with moving some weight, that's when we get on to the hack, the leg press, and be focusing on time under tension, controlled negatives, full pause on the stretch with the muscle actually lengthened and like ready to go, not just sitting at the bottom. So still moving weight. Over there is where you start seeing a fraction of the weight and more getting the stimulus from the rep range or the time under tension that we're doing. But we're doing quad focus, so this whole thing is inside hip width, or as other people like to say, or I've referred to in the past, is inside shoulder width. But anything where your heels are inside your hips, like this, is just gonna push those knees forward for quads. Some people might do these and go, well, when do you know you're working set for your 10 reps when you go 10, 8, 6, 4 down? Is it one plate? Is it two plate? I stack every time I move to a new movement, I always do warm-up sets, but it's not a warm-up because I'm warm. It's to get me structurally ready for the different movement. I've been doing extensions and sissies. Come on, I'm gonna jump into my set right here. So I taper myself up. 1 plate, 10 was easy. 2 plates, was 10 easy? Yeah. 3 plates, it was easy. 3.5, nailed 10 perfectly. That was my first set. The others are scraps. Like if you took 1 plate and failed, you might get to 50 something reps. But if you stop at 10, that didn't do anything. Too light. When you see me on these from the side, I might be grabbing that thing in front, but I'm upright. And look where my butt is. It's always coming down here. And when I go up, it's north and south, not east and west. So when I'm sitting here like this position, when you were saying, oh, I'm coming down and I'm nailing the bottom, you should be, when you're coming down on that one, as the set was getting harder, instead of your set looking like this, your set was ending here. So your range of motion is coming up here and dropping. But if you were to keep that butt down on those heels upright, there's no way that little inch could bottom out. See on that? Literally my 8th rep. I tried to keep it tight, failed, tried to do it again, let my butt go back to cheat, right up. Song's awesome. Yep. Slow-mo. Hit that pause. Yeah. Yeah. Come on. One more. Yep. 1, 2. Okay. Good, that was nice. Thanks. Perfect. So, all right, so now that we're on leg press, we did our squat, extensions, sissies, even our adductors were all more faster, explosive. Controlled negatives, everything's always in control. No real time under tension, no pausing, none of that stuff. Not in regards to like multi-joint movement stuff. Now we're going time under tension, not worrying about the weight. We got 200s up there, max, what I'm probably gonna stay at. And it's gonna be all about mentally getting in a position, structurally getting in a position, focusing on one thing, doing everything. We're so fatigued already, it's easy for other things to take over. So now we're gonna start paying attention more to the fatigue. Make sure that, hey, if I normally start with a leg press, I get up to 5 or 6 plates each side. This is the 4th one in. How are we doing? Are we jumping up to there and our ego's taking over? No, let's pay attention to what we're doing. We're trying to hit the quads. I don't want my glutes and hammies and everything else taking over, and I don't want my low back rounding. You do leg press isolated enough, it'll feel better than extension. Back's fully braced. You gotta keep your hips from rotating in a butt wing, and when that's locked in, this is the shit. There's even that video of Tom last when he was like, yeah, I took some time off of squats because I wanted to let the rest of my body catch up. And he's like, so I did leg press and my legs kept growing. And you're like, well, God damn it, dude. Build that base and then switch it up. First things first, instead of getting in here and getting like my low back, like mid and back push up against this, the only thing I worry about on this, which is very similar to like your back on a bench press, this is the only thing that needs to touch. When that's shoved in, this can do pretty much anything. Your low back can't be the thing that does this. So this stays, see how like right when I lock that in, this is just like ready to go? It's like loading everything into your back for a bench press, and then you're like, oh, I'm ready to go. But if you leave everything up, it's like you're in a weird position. So low backs, all pushed in, and everything's taking place right here. Call these the dick pinchers, sorry, because they're out close to the stance. Oh my God. You know, like when you do one of those sets and you can't get comfortable when you're done, you're like, how do I make this hurt, not hurt? Create the biggest deficit ever. So we can make this thing feel like a barbell squat. So we're gonna get on it. with weight. Who would have thought? This is honestly like one of those ones where you realize that like getting a full range of motion on a squat, that slingshot out of the hole is so strong. And a lot of people on hack squats, it doesn't even go all the way for them to hit a full stretch. So they're always hindered by like a whack range of motion to get out of. But on these, you put it so high. I could have 6 plates on here and I will not touch the bottom of this. And it forces you into that deep stretch that like maybe you couldn't even get into because your hack wasn't structurally built right. If you're like, I would say a newbie, or like you're getting into the sport and you're hopping on a machine that you got in your gym or whatever and you're bottoming it out already in regards to the range of motion, avoid it. Because if you're doing that as a newbie, more range of motion will get unlocked as you continue lifting, and being stuck at the max of that, where maybe your daily gym for 8 years before you graduate and go somewhere, then you're always hindered by that lack of range. That's why this is literally my favorite hack squat, and I put something under it so I can get a range that I can't get. All right. Oh yeah. Squished. About as squished as it gets. So the slow out of the hole, what we're doing on these, if you're in a range of motion, for me, this is such a deep range of motion, it's difficult for me to get to. That's why I get into the range of motion fast, and then it takes me a good 1, 2, 3 seconds as you see me decompress, get further and further down. Slow out of the hole moves, if you got a lot of weight on that, you're in a range of motion that's tight as shit on your hips. When you fire off fast, it's really good opportunity that something else is taking over. But if you're locked into your quads and do a, bless you, if you lock in and then do a nice slow like 1, 2, and then you go, that initial slow move activates all the primary perfectly and then fires them ready to go. Opposed to like, I'm repping this out, give those a chance to fire. Oh, good song. All right. Oh! That itch got me, bro. Had to take a pause. Couldn't focus. So we just got done with quads, quad focus leg day. Started off with adductors, because I feel like that's something that most people like just skip out, and you throw it in at the end. It's like calves. Oh, hope I get some growth. You don't get any growth because you're already done with quads. You're already done with your leg day. Adductors to start. Pre-exhaust of a compound set from a leg extension into a sissy squat. Pausing on the stretch, controlling the faster paced sissy squats for the second movement. Then we got on to machine squats, right? Machine squats, and then we did the 12, 10, 8, 6, 4. Then the leg press, then the hack squat. Hack squat, both the hack squat and the leg press were like cannonball style. You know, once you kind of get anywhere outside of shoulder width or even close, I think a lot of people get in the habit of like, oh, my stance is close, but my knees are bowing out. You're doing this. Like, I got a close stance. I'm doing inside shoulder width stance. Yeah, but your knees are way outside shoulder stance, you know? So in my mind, I'm thinking on those movements, once we get past the structural, you know, moving weight movements where it's like, I can't sit there and pinch my balls together and expect to move the maximum amount of weight on a squat, right? So when we get over to a squat, we get a little bit more opened up on the stance. We're gonna be moving weight, but when we're fatigued and our strength is smoked and we're still moving on with our workout, stop worrying about strength, get into a more vulnerable position where you're isolating the leg that much more, and then just own up to, hey, we're not moving a lot of weight. Hey, we're in a position where I can't have my glutes or hammies or anything take over, so I don't need to put on enough weight to stimulate 3 muscle groups. I'm gonna try to make this smaller weight work with my quads or whatever I'm doing. So you'll see that in the workout. Everything's controlled once we get past the squats. But even when you see us squatting, there might be some slow negatives. We're dropping into it kind of fast because we're moving weight on that movement. But there's never anything that is done that is out of control. That might look faster and uncontrolled and compared to like a time under tension controlled set, but it ain't uncontrolled. You know, when you're doing something like that, you nail down your form. Every single one of those reps, I know that point A to point B is my butt getting down to my heel and then going straight up. And then once you kind of nail down that form on the first one, it's kind of like on autopilot. So leg press in general, I think that when I did talk about it down there, you know, you get in there with your close stance, and then as you try to get that range of motion, I think a lot of bodybuilders run into the issue of like a big stomach, big rib cage, a lot of mass in this front. So when they start getting down to like a deep stretch, you're like, well, I'm running into my abs. I'm running into a big old rib cage. If you're a big dude, this could be in your way. You might not be getting a good range of motion because you're like, my ribs are nailed, you know? So then people, what they do is they go, oh, I'm gonna do close stance, but ribs are out of the way. Get my ribs out of the way. But what you need to do is get yourself in a position where you can keep your knees in, get as much of a range as possible where it's still tucked in, and then you stay in that position throughout. Because then you're not like, oh, quads, out of my quads. Okay, cool. Out of my quads. And it's like forcing yourself to be like, no, basically every squat, leg press, hack squat, anything we do is still mentally, when I was telling you, we're thinking leg extension. I'm doing a squat leg extension. I want to feel, as I'm at the bottom, a big stretch all the way up here. And as I come up, I want to feel these quads push my knees and lock them back. It's all thinking about how I can get them to fire the most each one. We were originally planning on going over to barbell squat, but I think I was getting pretty up on the leg press, and I really wanted to go back to something where my back was supported, make sure that I could get the most out of it. If you start going over to your last movement, the mass mover, and your low back's kind of smoked or something, then you may just be chasing like what's it called, like a dead rabbit? That makes no sense. Whatever it's called, we're like, the goal is never going to be met because you're toothed up in a secondary muscle group that's always going to take over. So bailed on squats, went over to hack squat, kept our back press up against it, but we put the block down at the bottom. And what we were talking about kind of on there was, you know, a lot of people, you might have a range of motion on your hack or your leg press where you're like, dude, I'm bottoming this out. Well, I would stay away from anything that you could potentially bottom out if it's easy for you to bottom out, because if you're already bottoming it out, there's no opportunity for more range of motion. You're not constantly getting into a stretch. You're not constantly being challenged with a stretch. You're never getting into it because the machine's stopping you. So what we did was put a big old block under there, put a little grip under there as well so it doesn't move. And now we got an extra 4 inches of range of motion. So when we were at the full bottom of our rep of a hack squat, it was all in that upper part of the quad. You feel like you're down there. You're like, I'm not sitting at the bottom chilling, looking around. I'm squished at the bottom and my quads are totally activated on the way up, since you're in the position where it's kind of like standing up on a squat, locking out on a leg press, standing up on a hack squat. There's nothing pulling your knees out to keep tension at the top. So putting the tension back on the quads, shorten range of motion. Don't stand all the way up. Keep yourself, once you get up to the full range and you feel like the quads are going to start losing tension, right back down. Starting little mental checklists of all of these things, paying attention is truly how you can get to kind of the next level, I think. You just got to look and give yourself an audit on your own training. Oh, well, I'm in the, you know, it says a 2-second pause at the bottom of the movement, but are you pausing at the bottom movement, or are you just decompressed sitting at the bottom of the movement, counting to 2, taking a break from your quads, letting it sit on your back for a second, and then go up? Well, then you had no 2 seconds on your quads. You had 2 seconds at the bottom and your low back said, you're welcome. So be owning up to everything and what you're trying to do. And it's kind of like the thing where it's like, take the ego out of it. Take the ego out of all of it. If it says 4-second negative, don't give me 2.5. If it says a 2-second pause on the stretch, don't sit at the bottom of the machine and let the machine rest. Pay attention to all that stuff, and that's what gets you to the next level.